Christ. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, a home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. There they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with them. Mary took a pound of costly perfume, made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii, and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put into it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Please be seated. For all who said it, I didn't break it like this. And I got this cinch. This is probably the most thing that caused me worry, so. Where there are 2 or 3 gathered in your midst, there you are. How many people here have washed somebody else's feet with their hair? For me, it might be particularly hard. We got one. I've never seen it or heard it before. For me, it would be extremely difficult. Sometimes I think it's easy when we look at this story just to think it's Bible people doing what Bible people do, just washing feet with hair. Yet something huge is happening in this reading, something truly special. We know that. In fact, in that time, Jesus would have come, maybe got a basin of water. Here's some water, wash your feet before you come in. If it was a rich house, they might have had a servant. But we know that Mary has money, she paid for it, she got it, and she's going to do it. This story is so big. In the chapter before in John, Lazarus is introduced as Lazarus is about to be raised from the dead. Lazarus is introduced as the brother of Mary, who washed Jesus' feet with her hair. For John, it's all about unity. John loved the theme of unity and things coming together. The very first thing that John does is doesn't have an infancy story, doesn't have Jesus in a manger. For John, the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. There's a unity. Very last thing that Jesus does is prayer, that they may be one. Before his death, he prays that they may be one. So what does this story tell us about unity? What I kind of want to do is look at each of the people in the gospel story, because I think they each have something to say about unity, about bringing things together. Richard Rohr, you're going to hear me talk about him every once in a while, I think, has this concept of oneing. Oneing is all things being brought back and made whole, unity. And I think you can see it in this gospel story. First, Jesus. Jesus, he's on his way from Bethany, going into Jerusalem. He knows he's about to die. Got to think that that's pretty scary. Got to think that you're pretty anxious about that moment. I don't know about you, but if I knew I was going to die, going to that, I would be anxious, and what I would need is people's love. What I would need is honor. I don't know that there's another time in the Gospels, I was trying to go through it and worked with some people, where Jesus accepts and receives love. Infancy, maybe. But here you see him receive love. He sits. Mary gets down, washes his feet with her hair. Mary's not allowed to touch Jesus because she's a woman and he's a man during that time. There's this intimate, beautiful exchange, and he receives it. I think receiving love is very hard sometimes. We must admit in me that I am not complete without this. I need an other. I need God. I need something. Here Jesus is afraid and accepts the need and allows himself to be ministered to. I wonder if you got the idea, right? Also in John is where he washes the disciples' feet at the Last Supper, right? I wonder if he's like thinking about Mary and this action and so moved by it that he repeats it. I know for me, in my life, receiving love sometimes can be some of the most difficult things. For some of you know, I have older kids and younger kids. My older kids, when they were younger, we went through some financial hardship. Kids were on Medicaid, we had some food stamps, we had help from the church, help from my parents. It was difficult, and what I learned through that process is those initial thoughts of, why can't I do this by myself? And why is this so hard for me? And what am I doing wrong? Were actually inaccurate. It was really about, how do I accept the love of others? How do I really understand that it's about wanting? We need each other. We need each other. In fact, as I work as a psychotherapist, if you ever want to see a client cringe a little bit, you just say, all right, from this week to next week, all you can do is say thank you is when somebody compliments you. What? When someone says, like, oh, I love your sweater, you can't say this thing, Walmart, man. No, you have to say thank you. If you do something good for another and they say thank you, you can't say, oh, no, anybody would have done that in that situation. Thank you. It's really hard just to take in love and receive it. We have a witness here of Jesus doing that. Let's move our attention to Mary. Mary washed the feet, and here she goes. Her brother was just raised from the dead. That's a pretty big deal. We got to think, right? And also, she just had her dignity affirmed. Right? Judas is coming in, and Jesus says, let her be. And the soul feels its worth. What do we do when our soul feels its worth? Do we acknowledge it? Do we accept it? Do we lean into it? Do we reject it? I wonder what we do. I know what Mary did. Mary had this creative outpouring of love. It was something that was uncommon, and she knew she had to show her love for her newfound sense of who she was, and it just became organic. I pray that I am able to do that. When I feel that, she is also a great witness. But sometimes people get held up, and so now we can move our attention to Judas. Judas really, I think, went in for the jugular, right, for Jesus, insulted Jesus in a way that nobody else could, right? That money could have been used for the poor is really saying, hey, Jesus, you're a hypocrite. You say you like the poor, but do you? Guess what? You're selfish. You're taking all this for yourself? Are you serious? He goes right in. I think in a way, right, it's the betrayal of a friend. It's someone who really knows Jesus' ministry and went right in to attack it. And I think Jesus' response is also super challenging for me. Because it is both, let her be. I'm not going to have you insult her dignity. But then his response is there's almost a tacit and beautiful invitation. I'm only here for a limited time. She gets it. Come be. Come one. Come have this unity. One with us. Have unity with us. There's the invitation there. He didn't say, dude, I know you go for the poor purse every single day and you're coming after me? Are you serious? What? Like, who's gonna betray me? Didn't do any of that, right? Just simply said, I'm here for a limited time. Come be with me. And that becomes a challenge for me, right? When we look at seeing what's going on in the world, I can feel very angry sometimes. Immigrants, criminals, almost used simultaneously. Two people of the same sex, when they fall in love, it's immoral. I don't believe any of these things, right? But these are the things that we're told sometimes. The poor have nothing to do with us. They deserve it. If they want it out, they can. So we don't worry about those who are in poverty. And I think our voice has to be, let them be. That means action from us. Migrants are searching for work in a better life. Two people of the same sex who fall in love and get married witness divine love. Those who are poor are not looking to be poor. Breaks my heart. The Atlantic had that, it's estimating hundreds of thousands have already died and will continue with the cut of USAID. Right? It needs action. Where I get stuck and where I struggle is how do I invite to this oneness? If it's true that we've all been created and are moving towards this oneness, how do I invite others in? And I know for me that has been absolutely a struggle, but also to me, at least, it is very clear that that is what Jesus witnesses to us. And so I've been praying a prayer. It's at the back of your bulletin. And what I do is I start where it's maybe easy and then move out to where it's more difficult, but I pray it for a lot of people. I pray it for myself, pray it for those within my family, I pray it for those who suffer. I move out to maybe those I don't know. I move out to those who I disagree with. And I move out to those who I might consider my enemy. And just spend some time meditating on all of those. And so the first, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. May you know God's peace. May you share God's joy. Wanting it for everybody. That they may all be one. Be happy, be healthy, be safe, live with ease, know God's joy, share God's peace. Share God's joy. Amen.